Okay, I'm back at it, y'all. You ever wonder why they call you Mr. or Miss for the ladies that are watching this? Miss or Mr. This is one of the reasons why I would not let in my child support case that I was fighting, I wouldn't let the magistrate call me Mr. Roseman. Okay? Look at what it says right here. As a form of address when a man's name is unknown, often with a tinge of rudeness. I knew it's just something that didn't sit right with, when you tell somebody what your name is, you specifically put it on paper. You style it properly. You make it known in your paperwork, and then they get you in open court and want to call you Mr. and then they use the last name. Mr. and then the last name. They will not call you by your given name. People have given names. Now keep that in mind, y'all. People have given names. All of y'all that have passports, if you look on your passport, I've showed y'all in recent videos, go look at your passport. You have a given name and a surname. You don't have a last name, a first name, and middle name. Legal fictions have last, first, and middle names. Okay? Only legal fictions have that. The Cestacate Trust, the Ensligas, the all caps name, the straw man, whatever you want to call it, that has a last, first, middle, and last name. You have a given name. As a living man and woman, you have a given name, and you have a surname. In fact, let me look into that. No, I'm gonna stay on point real quick first. I'm gonna look up Mr. right here. 1968, 1933. I looked in that one first, but that one didn't have a definition in here. Then I looked in my other dictionaries, and they all had this same one in here. Same definition. Notice that. Let me see if I can zoom in on this a little bit. Get back in there. Okay. As you can see, can I zoom? I'm trying to see if I can bring it over to the middle. Anyway, y'all can see it. Mr. right here. The definition, say title of courtesy, a trade, craft, occupation, employment, office. Notice one thing. All of those terms have in common. They all deal with commerce. Everything's in the commercial world. Trade, commercial. Craft, you're using your craft to make money or whatever. Commercial. Occupation, commercial. Employment, commercial. You are acting in a particular official capacity, any type of office, commercial. All this is for commercial purposes. They're taking you out of your private capacity when they're calling you Mr. and putting that last name or that last name attached to it. Yeah, remember when I showed y'all that your the name on the birth certificate when I showed y'all in the previous video a few months ago, I forgot the name of the video, where I showed y'all where even the Department of Justice made it clear that your certificate of live birth, your social security card, your driver's license, those were never intended for you to be using them as identification. Only the passport was created to with that intention. The passport is for that. It was something else I mentioned too, but the passport is the main thing that was created for the use of identification, not the driver's license. Driver's license, it's got your last, first, middle, last, whatever. Now, let me show y'all something on my certificate of live birth. Look here. Notice the last name is all caps. This is my given name. However, this is the Ensligas because it has a first, middle, and last name. Even y'all certificate of live birth has a first, middle, and last name. You will not see surname written on your certificate of live birth. You will not see given name written on your certificate of live birth. You will only see first, middle, and last name. Somebody prove me wrong, okay? But this is what every certificate of live birth I've seen. It was always the last name, it's always first, middle, and last name. But notice on my certificate of live birth, the last name is in all caps. That is the main name. That's the main part of that name that they use to conduct business. So when they can get you in there and they call you Mr. with the last name, they're bringing you in the commercial realm. They're bringing, they're getting you to communicate with them in your official capacity by answering to a name Mr. with the last name attached to it. The last name is in all caps. That is the Ens Ligas. That is the straw man, the all caps name, the Sesta K Trust, whichever one you feel comfortable calling it. Okay. This is one of the reasons when I was in court fighting my child support case, I would not let them call me Mr. Roseman. And I was a beginner. It was my very first case. I had never been before any judge having to fight for my rights like that. Concerning a legal matter to this capacity. Any other time, it was like before I started studying this stuff, it was with an attorney or something like that. But ever since when I started dealing with my child support case, I didn't hire an attorney, and I did it on my own. But I knew before I started, I was already 2 years in before my son was born. So the only thing I knew was the basics. But I knew, don't call me Mr. Roseman. But I did not know to this degree because I had not looked all this stuff up just yet. And I was too busy with this. I wanted him to call me El McHale. I don't know if y'all remember. As a matter of fact, I'm going to see if I can find that video. I want to find that video. Let me see YouTube. Let's see. Jonah Bey. This is the video. I'm going to show y'all this video. This is Jonah Bey right here. That's Jonah Bey. But this is not the video I'm talking about. This is more recent stuff of his, but I don't follow him. So let's see. He was on the Ron Mark show years ago. Let's see if I can find this thing. Here it is right here. If y'all see this y'all see this thing right here?
Into the Ron Mark,
this video right here.
Show. We have a special guest.
If you're going to look this video up right here, I watched this video. I listened to it a bunch of times over and over. This is where he walks people through how to get the 98 number. Okay? And in this video, there was someone that called in and they asked, how do you become a Moor? And he explained to them that you can write on there. Let me see if I can just find it.
Correct.
Jews, they know this stuff, and this is why they already are in their accounts.
Yes.
Everyone who knows gets their accounts unified, but we're not unified. Just the way you were, it's difficult to get the garbage to me for if like I killed someone.
Yearnings and our own spiritual
did the same way our ancestors did. It's just one part. This is one part. Arrest.
Yes.
I ain't got no issues with them. No, it never came back.
Anyway, I'm not gonna go through the whole video like that. But you watch this video, listen to this video, y'all will actually hear where he explains how to get the 98 number. This is actually how I learned to get a 98 number. But I tweaked it. I didn't do exactly what he said do, but it was helpful enough, and I was able to put my own, let my conscience be my guide on how to get one. But bottom line was, that's not important. That's not what I'm talking about on here. He was on this video. Somebody called in to ask, how can I become a Moor? And I was like, I'm listening. How do you become a Moor? And they were like, he was like, you can write on there, write up a document, your own declaration where you say, I, formerly known as whatever, and will now go by my Moors or spiritual name, and then you say your name, you get it notarized, and then once it gets you get it notarized, he said, then you are a Moor, like as if it's that simple. And I'm like, I did that. Recorded in the county recorder's office and everything under miscellaneous. So now I'm going by El McHale. Now you're not knowing that the real way the actual way where you can actually go and do it the legal way. You're really just trying to get another straw man name. That's basically all you're trying to do because you're doing it for commercial purposes anyway. You're not trying to anyway. bottom line is I did one of those declarations right there. And here I was, then went as far as doing this here. Show y'all. See if y'all gonna laugh at me. Nope, not this. Showed y'all this already. Here we go. This is what I did. I went and joined with this little thing, right? I didn't actually join the group. I didn't join this society. I read one of the little videos or some kind of advertisement. I call myself El McHale. Now, I told him El McHale. I don't know why the hell he just took it upon himself to just put the shit the way he wanted to put it in the McHale L instead of putting it the way I told him to put it. He wouldn't even get with me about how I was signing my name back then. He wanted me to sign it the way he wanted me to sign my damn name. But anyway, they kind of controlling. He was kind of controlling like a motherfucker with this. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. I was running around with this here. I felt good when I got this little damn card, acting like I done did something. Now I'm running around here in my paperwork, in my child support case, writing El McHale all in my paperwork. So these people were like, Mr. Roseman. And I'm like, don't call me Mr. Roseman. Yeah, Mr. Roseman is a straw man. Is a legal fiction. I said, I'm not a fiction. I'm a living man. You don't call me Mr. Roseman. Call me El McHale. Don't call me nothing else. I was pissing them off, but that's what I stood on. And I was an amateur in what I was doing. I said this before in previous videos, but I thought I'd take time to make a video so I can actually show y'all the actual card that I went and bought when I was sitting here going by this little name, you know, and really thought I was doing something, you know. So it was just kind of funny how I did that, but now I understand exactly why. You know, I'm showing y'all what it means when they use the word Mr. and, you know, right before your name, right before your last name, or Miss if it's a female. You know, I don't even know. I didn't think they have Miss in this dictionary. It's probably most likely not going to be in here. Let's see. It's probably going to be like, let me see. Let me make sure before I say it's not. I say it's not. Yep. It's not in here. Because it would be right up here, but it's not. It's not. Okay. But we see what it means when they say Mr. right before your name. They're basically trying to bring you in the commercial realm. And they want to communicate with you as someone that's there to do business. And if you don't want to be called Mr. If you decide to go in a courtroom and someone decide to address you like that, you correct them, you object to them and let them know what your given name is. Say, I have a given name. My given name is, and whatever your name is, your given name is. You state that on the record. And I have a surname. State that for the record. I don't have a first, middle, and last name. Only the Sesta K Trust has a first, middle, and last name. I'm the beneficiary for that. You know, you state who you are. For the record, if you choose to be up in their courtrooms, you want to make sure you don't let them call you Mr. Nothing. And you state that, put it in your paperwork. Make sure you rebut that presumption. You know, I would even go as far as putting medical records all in there as a rebut the presumption of death. You know, certified copy, of course. I would do something like that. That's just me. I would try some shit like that because I know that it is evidence. It's prima facie evidence. Notice on medical records, your last name, your surname is written first on the medical record, and then you got the comma, and then your given name, because they're dealing with a quote unquote natural person. They're dealing with someone who's alive, not some fiction. So understand that when you got certified copies of a record that you can use in a court case, those things rebut presumptions. Remember, I showed y'all a video that talks about the presumptions of law. And that is one of the presumptions. If there's nothing in their probate courts that proves you to be alive, they're going with the presumption that you're dead. That's what gives the judge the power to administer your estate, you know, for commercial purposes, because there's nothing on the record at all to prove them wrong, that you are not, even though you're standing in there, you're standing before them and they're playing this. It should be illegal if someone's standing in there and they're alive and well, you're looking them in their eyes, and yet you can pretend like they're dead and administer their estate. That's just some fraud, you ask me. But, you know, it is fraud. You ain't got to ask me. Everybody knows it's fraud. But the thing is, that's what they're doing. And, you know, letters of administration, go back and look at the video about letters of administration. I showed y'all that's what they put in place to operate as administrators over your estate. because of that presumption. But if you got an active case, you put some certified evidence or original evidence, in your court case to rebut any presumptions, and make sure you attach it to something. Don't just throw it in there, because throw it in there and put some instructions with it. What is it why are you putting it there? It's like you walk up to me and hand me $100 bill and walk off. I don't know what you want me to do with it, so I'm gonna do what I want to do with it. You know what I'm saying? If it's, just put it with something like a motion or some type of, whatever. Do something like a rebuttal. Do something with it. Put something with it, and make it an exhibit to something. That way you can actually you let them know you're rebutting the presumption. So anyway, that's what I do. That's how I would operate it. I believe in putting evidence in a court case. Even recently, I just received certified copies of the here in Georgia. I went to Georgia Archives and I received in the mail today certified copies of the Bill of Rights. And I'm going to use this in my habeas corpus case. A certified copy of the Bill of Rights, a certified copy of my certificate of trust. Certified copies of not birth records, but like medical records that rebuts the presumption of death. You know what I'm saying? Different stuff like that. You use evidence to prove what you're saying. I got certified copies of the law where it speaks about the presumption of death. You know what I'm saying? The presumption of death and what you can do to rebut the presumption of death. You can use stuff like that. Y'all got to be willing to use that type of stuff. Rebut these types of presumptions. You don't want them having you all in no commercial realm. You know what I'm saying? You got to always get you some evidence. Evidence is what shut these cases down. Stop using these other people's little processes. They just making up shit. Use stuff that's going to rebut presumptions. Rebut presumptions. If you learn how to rebut presumptions, and show them who you are. You're not Mr. Nothing. Make sure you show them who you are. Put it on the record. Put it on the record and shut the case down. Emrose, signing out.